Yes, my name is Big Lou, and you are now listening to Go Produce. We're the show that explores how music industry professionals turn their passions into profit. If you want to gain a deeper understanding of how valuable mentorship is at all levels, then this episode is for you. Thank you, Factor, for funding part of this initiative. The theme for today's episode is, how did your previous mentors affect how you mentor today? Mentorship coming full circle. Our guest of today, Garth Richardson. He's a Juno award-winning producer and engineer who began his career at the young age of 15 while working in his father's studio. Later, he became one of the founders of the Nimbus School of Recording Arts. Garth's unyielding focus on excellence, dedication, and passion are just a few of the reasons the artists he works with and the albums he produces go on to achieve great things. I bring you Garth Richardson.
Holy shit, I better go get Garth then, right? Because you guys, wow.
That's not you. I'm pretty sure that's
not you. No,
they're
definitely not me. You got some other guy there,
hilarious.
Right?
Thank you so much, Garth, for being here. I want you to know that we do appreciate your time, so let's make the most of this and let's go produce.
Fantastic. Okay, let's go.
So our first segment is called The Basics.
Okay.
What we're going to do with the oh, here we go. Nope. We're easing into the basics. All right. What we're going to do with the basics is essentially get to know you on a personal level so our listeners can move forward together.
Okay.
I like to start out with, what is your first musical memory?
Okay, that happened actually Hallmark Studios back in probably 1963. My dad gave me my first reel-to-reel tape.
Oh.
And I was 5.
Oh, wow.
I was 5 years old, and he gave me the tape, and I was there looking at the tape and going, what is this thing, right?
Do you remember what was on the tape?
No. It was a blank tape. My dad was working at the time with Bobby Yakutola.
Oh, wow.
And that's back in like 1963, maybe 64.
Way back playbacks. Very cool.
Way back, because that means I'm old, I guess, right?
Come on now. And then the 5-year-old mind was super curious, trying to decipher what this is.
Yep. Hold on.
No worries.
I have a dog, and he likes to hang out with me. So
hey, dogs are cool.
I'm back. Sorry,
dogs are cool. Dogs are cool. Yeah. So you're a 5-year-old mind. You see this tape, and you're trying to decipher what this is, and from there you're hooked.
I didn't have a clue. Yeah.
Obviously, you were super influenced by your surroundings, but
yeah.
Wow, that's an entry.
Yeah.
I'm also curious to know, what is the first lesson the industry has ever taught you?
Show up on time.
Interesting.
Yeah, my dad basically used to preach to me all the time that you had to show up on time, because if you didn't, then you're going to get fired. Right. So yeah. He was very critical.
So
that you had to be on time.
Does showing up on time mean being there ahead of time so you're ready to go at your start time?
Exactly. My dad used to say noon meant you're going to hit play at noon. Not that you show up at noon, have lunch, get ready to start at say hello. It was like you were there, and when he said noon, that was play.
Yeah.
So
you'll see that. That's the higher up you go in the hierarchy or in the ranking system or in professionalism, you'll see that time is regarded as very serious. So it's a very important lesson. And the fact that it was one of your first lessons made like the rest of your career develop very nicely. So everyone listening, make sure to be on time.
Yeah, show up on time, because you know what? That also shows somebody actually actual lack of respect. If you're not on time, that just shows you that you don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can't get the time back ever. It's a finite resource. So there's a lot of respect to that. Yeah. Having been in this career or in this industry for so long, I know you have done a lot of firsts, but I'm curious now, do you have new firsts that you're pursuing?
You know what? That's a tough one. You know what? It's a tough one. I just put in new concrete countertops, if that helps, if that's a first, right?
Fair.
But
Fair.
basically, no.
No.
No, I've had a really good career. It's like there's nothing that I really, 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 have to do this because I've had a really good time doing this, right? So there's nothing
That's amazing.
that I can think of, that I have to do something, right? So
yeah. But
yeah.
does that mean you feel like you're done?
I'm not done. Not a chance.
No, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
being committed to the game, persevering does say something than accomplishing and leaving. That's
Yep.
two different levels, two different magnitudes
Yep.
service
True,
almost.
true. Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Garth, that is the conclusion of the basics.
Wow.
I hope you very much enjoyed that. You said they were kind of rough, so I mean, tough questions.
Yep.
That's what we try and go for.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Totally.
How you feeling right now?
Good.
Do you want a breather at all?
No,
Nah?
let's go.
All right.
Let's fucking get her done.
Let's get her done for the boys.
Get her done. Get her done.
Our next segment is What's Yo Take?
What's your take? Okay.
Yes. So in What's Yo Take, I'm going to be throwing semi-ridiculous points, perspectives at you to try and hash out your opinions.
Okay.
My first question is, or point is, your interns, they have it easy.
No.
Well, why is that relationship more challenging than another intern?
Well, because you want them to learn. If you beat them up, of course, you can't do what we did in the old days to what we did today, because then we'd all end up in jail. But that applies with that applies with numerous great actually stories. But basically, you have to have their trust, right? And you have to know that they also have your back. If you have an intern or actual runner, aka the same thing, you have to know that if you tell them to do something, it's going to get done, and you have to worry about what they're doing. You have to make sure that you say to them, they get it done. Because then if they can handle that job, then they can move up the ladder and they can get into being a actual second engineer. Then they can become actual first engineer. Then they can become producer, right? So you have to have your interns have to be good.
Obviously, different people are going to come in at different levels. So I can't really ask how long does someone have to intern with you before they become an actual producer. But is there an average time that you see people spending?
No. Some make it and some don't.
Some make it and some don't. What about Nigel Aslan? Do you remember him?
I was waiting for that one.
Yep.
Yeah, Nigel is up here helping me build my studio, right? So him and I had a long conversation about this. So that I'm glad that you brought up his name. He literally showed up, called me up, and said, I'm coming out to Vancouver. And I said, yeah, great. You have a job, but no job. So he comes out, he calls me, he shows up to my studio, and he has resumes for all the other studios except for mine. I went, what the fuck are you doing? Dude. So he didn't leave. And it's the one thing that all you kids have to understand out there is this isn't a job. This is a lifestyle. This is something that you love. The money will come. If you want to get a job that's going to pay you money, you get into banking, you get into insurance, and live a really boring, horrible life. Or if you want to get into this business, it is it's a hard grind. It's an incredible hard grind. I probably worked 3/4 of my life, right? Because you spend from actually 10 a.m. until 4 in the morning every day, Monday through Friday, sometimes Monday to Monday to Monday to Monday to Monday. But Nigel showed up. He thought he knew everything, and I beat the shit out of him. And he's done well.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to have somebody like that really kind of wants it bad, right?
So they need to want to have the drive, the commitment to it. They have to be able to establish trust with you.
Yes. Yeah.
is there something else in the actual interview that you look for that can break it for an intern, or you're like, okay, this is what we want?
Yeah, I mean, you also know how to hang. That's because if you're in a room for every 3 months with somebody, at some point you're going to want to punch them out, right? So you want to make sure that a person's going to hang well. You're going to make sure that they don't, they know the hierarchy. Yeah. Because if you're in a room with Bob Ezrin, you don't tell Bob Ezrin what to do. When you're in a room with Mutt Lang, you don't tell Mutt Lang what to do. You keep your mouth shut. You're there. My dad taught me when I was probably like about 14 years old. He taught me to use my ears. Right?
That's a huge lesson.
The greatest thing, you have to understand, you use your eyes and your ears. Your ears are always on, and you're always listening to the conversation going on around the room, so that when the engineer, the producer are talking about something, you already know you get the whole thing set up. So that when it comes time to, okay, ready to do this, okay, it's coming up channel 3. Oh, okay, great. Right? The guys that are too busy, I do find now today, because of course I'm a bad guy, but too, that we're always on our phones. We're always on Google, we're always on Facebook, we're always on Instagram,
social media, whatever. Yeah.
Right, because you know what? In the old days, you used to close that actual vault door. You would hang up your phone because it's only one phone. Right? Yeah. You pick up the phone and go, "Please hold all calls." Hang up the phone. You work.
Wow.
Now it's like everybody's on their phone. Everyone's like, hold on, busy. Yeah, you know, it's like, so like the technology has kind of hurt us a lot, but so helped us a lot too, right?
I've got a personal love-hate relationship with technology and social media.
Yeah, same.
Because it really is so distracting, so diminishing to society. But there's so many pillars and strengths that have come from it as well. So it's a tool. Yes. But it's not utilized as a tool, and that's what dominates.
I find that people have gotten lazier.
Yeah, because everything's easier.
Yeah,
and that's what the race of businesses try and make things as easy as possible, because boom, convenience.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how it continues to develop, but we will see.
Yep. Okay.
What about answering phone calls?
Well, if it's your wife or your partner, then yes, you have to take those calls. Your kids, yes, you take those calls. Everything else, you can always just, hit. My phone, when someone calls me, "Hi, I'm sorry, but I can't talk right now. I'm actually planning the actual Toronto Maple Leafs Stanley Cup parade route," and that goes out. Right?
That's fair enough.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I usually have my dates where, okay, guys, you have to put your cell phones down, please.
Yeah. Hey.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all about drive, but not so much mentorships. What do you think about that? What's your take?
What do you mean by that?
So it's very important to stay committed, and you can accomplish a lot on your own, but relying on mentors won't necessarily elevate you so much. You can do it on your own.
No, I don't agree.
Let's hear some more about that. Why not?
No, I don't agree, because you know what? People have been mentored throughout our careers. If you look at, look at guys like Kevin Shirko, he got mentored by actually Mutt Lang. You look at Bob Ezrin, got mentored by my dad. I got mentored by my dad. I mentored Joe Barisi. I mentored Greg Fiddleman. I mentored Nick Raskolinix. Right. All these guys I helped teach and taught. I got taught the same way. That's a dying breed, because you know what? You can find things on the internet, but that doesn't mean that it's right. Right. You got to have somebody that can show you the skills. Somebody that can tell you, well, you know what? I wouldn't do that right now. I would wait a little bit. Right. So I think we become so lazy, and of course, nobody really wants to give you the time because they're like afraid to take their job, right? Right, your job. So, but my father was always open to great story. This kid came into my dad's studio back in, I guess, 71 or 72. This guy was off the street. My dad took 4 hours talking to this kid. The kid goes, Jack, what do I have to do to make it in the business? My dad said, get the hell out of Canada. That guy, so this was a nowhere kid. He played keyboards. The guy turned out to be David Foster. Now, if my dad did not, my dad did not spend the actual 4 hours talking to him, maybe that would have happened, right?
That's wild.
So, yeah. So my thing is mentoring is so important. It's huge, right? Because you get the skills. Could you imagine being mentored by the late great Bruce Swedien? Right? Right. What you could learn.
So we spoke about interns a little bit previously. From an intern to a mentee, is there a difference from there? Obviously, you start as the intern, but you don't just give anyone a chance to be your mentee, you know?
No, you can actually tell, well, I can tell probably within the first half hour that the kid's worth it.
Okay,
right?
Interesting. And that's based off of energy.
If you know somebody that's going to be worth it, if you know someone is going to be worth it, you should take them on. Right, the ones that you don't think are worth it, you kind of go, you know what? There's no point, right? It's like, you know what? Bye-bye.
And would you even consider taking on someone as a mentee before they went through the internship process?
Oh, of course, yeah. There's a kid that just showed up at my door here. He's going to actually Berkeley School of Music, but he can't go. He showed up at my door. He was putting in my deck. And then he began talking. You could tell that he was sharp. He actually gets it, right?
Interesting. And my last question on this point: your dad told the pianist. Wow, the name is flooding my mind. David Foster. David Foster.
Oh my God,
thank you.
Louis.
I know.
Wow.
I'm speaking to Garth Richardson.
You can't
I'm
remember
focusing
somebody that's great.
I'm nervous, okay?
David Foster is a legend.
He always does this, Garth.
I'm not
Are there
perfect.
any openings on your studio for a sound guy?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to kick it with me anymore. That's hilarious.
Come on up.
That's hilarious. But you said that your dad told Dave to get the hell out of Canada. Do you think that advice still counts today?
You know what? No, it doesn't, because you know what? There are some phenomenal people coming out of Canada right now. The whole Drake camp, the whole weekend camp. There's so many phenomenal Canadians, and they're doing it. But mind you, after they become big, they do leave.
Then they do leave, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Nobody wants to be in the States right now, too.
That's the interesting part as well. I'm curious to see how that changes over the next couple years, months even.
Yep. Yeah. It's actually changing a lot. So
yeah. Yes.
I get that.
The collaborations and paperwork that comes from all of this, is that simple? What's your take on that?
It's not simple, because it's kind of having somebody show up into your house. You have to teach them to actually dress differently, right? You got to make them look at themselves differently. You got to make them. I have to say the word no. That's not good. That's not good enough.
Right.
You have to make sure that when they come in, you want to point out the good points, and then you want to point out the bad points, and that's hard, because you're telling somebody that it's not good, right? And it's hard on the ego.
But I mean, like, if they're serious about the project, then it's okay. They should be open to this feedback. Yeah,
but they're not. No, I don't want anybody telling me what to do.
Would that hinder their career?
Well, there's a great story. There's actually two stories. My dad was doing Bob Seger.
Yeah.
He showed up with 2 songs. My dad did a cover of my "It's Empty Without You, Babe." My dad was coming. The whole band had left, except for one guy in the band.
Yeah.
My dad went to get Bob to hear the first mix. Bob was in my dad's office playing on the piano. He was playing the song Night Moves. My dad stopped, heard the song in the hallway, came and said, "Bob, what's that song?" "I hate that song." No. He'll play it for me again. He played the song. My dad goes, "That's a hit." And Bob goes, "I don't do it." He says, No. I have to do 4 songs. We're going to do that song.
Yeah.
So then they got all these guys in to play it. Bob left with those songs. My dad called up Capitol Records about a month later. "Hey guys, how'd you like the songs?" They said, "Yeah, those 3 songs you did just weren't what we wanted. 3. I did 4. My dad sent them the 4 songs. The next thing you know, my dad is looking at the charts, and his Bob Seger Night Moves going up the charts.
Yeah.
Right. I did a Chevelle, the song "The Red." They hated that song. They did not want to do it. I said, "We have to do this song. We have to do this song." "I fucking hate it. I don't want to do it." I go, "Guys, it's a great track. That's their best song ever." Right. So our jobs, when it comes to basically, we sometimes have to fight. We all have to push.
Is that the job that a producer should carry on in general? A good producer,
Always.
at least? Yeah.
Always. Your job is to basically be that guy, that because most guys think what they're doing is great or it's not good enough. And
Right.
You have to find, like all the parts.
Sift through it, find the diamonds.
Yep.
Interesting. So as a producer, what should they make sure that they get when they're working with artists or labels?
You have to make sure that your job is to say no a lot.
Yeah.
No, that's not good enough. No, that can be better.
How do you know when to say no?
When it sucks. Right. You gotta know what a good song sounds like, right? Right. If you have the Beatles, the Bee Gees, Barry White, Earth, Wind and Fire, Chicago, they're all amazing songs.
Yeah.
Steely Dan. You know what a good song sounds like. You
Fair.
also know what a bad song sounds like, right?
So as a producer, you have to either draw the line and say, okay, the artist can come in, I'm going to work with the song, even if I don't like it, and push you out. Or say, I don't like this song, I'm not vibing with it, I'm not going to take your money because of this and this and this. We can change if you're willing to.
I've done it numerous times. Yeah. I've done it numerous times to where somebody comes to me with some stuff and I go, "Guys, this is great, but I can't take your money." Right? It's not what I want to do. It's not what I want to say. Right?
Beginning, you may have to say yes.
You can't. You can't. You have to do whatever you have to do
at the beginning.
You have to do whatever you need to do. Yeah.
Until and it's not really like you've hit this level now you can say no. It's something that you develop over time.
Yeah. Basically, when you're young, starting out, you do everything and everything. Anything that's out there, you do it. If they have $1, do it. You got to get your name out there because it's like she did back in the 80s. I did the actual Bullet Boys demos.
Right.
That got them signed.
Right.
That got them signed.
Oh.
Right.
Cool.
Right. Right. So when I got paid, I think I got paid $100 for it. Right.
Yeah. So it wasn't a lot of, but it worked out.
Yeah.
Do you have a screening process to find out if someone is legitimate to work with, or is it part of that half-an-hour conversation you have?
Well, you go word of mouth. You know, like somebody that has worked with somebody before, right? So, like I'm about to start the new Devin Townsend record, right? So basically, I've had time to be able to Devin and I have been courting for the last probably 3 years, right? So it's kind of like I take my time on some. If it's a band that comes to me, I'll go and find out who they've been with.
Yeah,
and I'll say, "So how's the band? Any problems? Anything that happens?" Right? And the people usually go, yeah, you have to watch it for this, or you know what, amazing guys.
That's awesome. Do a little bit of due diligence.
Yes.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
Yeah, another thing that you have to do is going to meet a band. You really have to know everything about them.
Their discography, their history.
You have to know what they like, what they don't like, their genres of their taste. You have to know what makes them tick. Right. So you young kids, do your homework, study the band, study who they are. Right.
Yeah. It really does go a long way. You don't want to be caught underprepared when the opportunity does come. So right now is a good time to start. Yeah. Yep. Fantastic, Mr. Garth. We are wrapping up this segment. We've got one more segment for the show. Okay.
Shoot.
Our last segment is called Clear the Air. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. It's going to smell so fresh and so clean.
Is that when somebody gas? Is that when somebody has really bad gas?
Exactly. That's why I don't sit in the same room as the grumpy sound guy.
Wow. Holy shit.
Sorry, what?
No, nothing. We didn't say anything. That's jokes.
You're saying that your farts smell. That's all.
Yeah, farts stink. So we're going to start off this segment. Essentially what we're going to do with Clear the Air is throw 3 to 5 different topics so that we can provide clarity for the young green professional. Cool?
Okay.
We are going to start this off by sharing a video that we have. We have one of our followers, our guests, our listeners, Justin Mackey. He's a singer-songwriter from London, Ontario, and he's got a question for you. Okay?
Okay, go.
Hey, Garth, quick question for you. In today's music industry, is it better to try to get a song on radio or to try to place it on TV or shows?
Both.
Both. Right off the bat, there's not one over the other?
Nope, no. Get your song heard.
Is it simpler to do one over the other?
No, they're equally as hard, because if it's a really bad song,
then it's not going to work.
It's going to go nowhere. There's a great story. My dad, when I was probably 16 years old, I said, "Pops, I want to do what you do." And he goes, "Okay, son, we have to have a talk." And I'm like, you have a pad, a paper with pens, and I'm ready to write pages of notes. And I go, "Okay, Pops, I'm ready." He says, "Okay, ready?" And I have my pen and my pad ready to go. And he goes, "Okay, write this down." I got my pen ready. He goes, "Good songs sell, bad songs don't."
Done.
That was it.
Lesson learned. So the bottom line is, nobody is waiting for a really shitty song. A great song will get you through 1,000,000 doors. A bad song will get you through the first door. So the thing that you have to realize is that all of these songwriters, you have to study and you have to learn what a song is. Max Martin is the perfect example of math music. Everything that he does is calculated. Yes, you know who Max Martin is? Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
No, you don't.
What are you talking about?
So basically, he is the ultimate songwriter, because apparently they teach songwriting in school. She's Sweden.
Yeah.
Right. So they basically, so if you're going to become an actual songwriter, learn your craft.
Right.
That's the hardest thing to do.
Do you find that writing specifically for different kinds of shows and TV movies, whatever the case may be, you have to be more specific, or you have to be more general in your songwriting?
It depends. You know the band, the Fray?
Yeah.
Okay, the Fray had the record out. It was done. It was over. It didn't do. He didn't do like a damn thing. Some music supervisor put one of their songs on the last show of that actual TV show. What's called
Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah, Grey's Anatomy.
Nice.
The next day, the song went to number 1.
Get out of here.
It's a true story.
That changes the game. So,
yeah, that changed the game, right? So nobody wrote that song for that show, but somebody saw the song, heard it, said, "Hey, this song would be great to be put into this TV show. So it's really hard to say that you're going to write for TV or so. Just write good songs, write good music.
Good music. Right? Once you have that done, try and make those connections, market, everything. Okay.
Market, get yourself out there.
Yeah, marketing is huge. Okay.
Yeah.
We were speaking about mentors earlier, and you told me a story about your dad just now, how you had to start up. Good songs sell, bad songs don't. But I wonder, have you ever felt intimidated by your mentors, by the person that your father was, the legendary Canadian producer, you know?
You know what? Not, you know what? In fear.
Yeah.
I guess would be a better way to say it. Because you know what? She demanded, you know what? You had to be at your best.
Exactly. From the interns, let alone you.
Exactly. Bob Ezrin still to this day scares me because he is so absolutely brilliant that you have to be on your A game.
Mm.
My father was the same way. So was Michael Wagner, who basically had me under his wing too. There was no wrong. There was only right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No time for that.
You know, so yes.
Wow.
So you had to pay like attention to where, again, getting back to the cell phone thing. I've had kids that have had in my sessions, and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, you know, there's a kid over in the corner on his phone. It's like, what the fuck is more important than this right now? Well, I'm checking my schedule for next week. You know what? That's fucking next week. Get your ass over here and pay attention to what we're doing
right now. Yeah.
Right? Because I'm actually paying you for this. So you better get your fucking ass.
That's even more
over here.
Even more reason.
Right? Yeah. So it's fear.
It's fear, yeah.
But in a good way.
That's a great way to add to it. And the fear from a good way was from those people, but did you ever feel external pressures from the community abroad or around you because of who you were?
Well, it's kind of always hard because it's like I was always known actually Jack's son.
Yeah. Then
there was a point in time to where like around 92, 93, I became actually Garth's dad. So sorry, hold on. Jack's son. Was actually
son.
To where it had flipped to where I was known as actually Jack's son, and then he became known Garth's dad. That's it. Right? So that was a really nice feeling.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I did it all on my own. I didn't go down to California and go, I'm actually Jack's son. It was like, this was me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So doing it on yourself, obviously you had your support and no one really does everything on their own, but were you provided any benefits or advantages because of the situation you had? And then also,
None.
And then did people be like, hey, we don't want to give you this and this because of who you are?
Well, you know what? I had to leave Canada because nobody here would hire me because of actually Jack's son.
Interesting.
Right. I went to California for 6 weeks, and that turned into 12 years. Right.
That's
literally a great story. Back in 1985, my friends who drove me down to Buffalo in my beautiful Dodge actually Duster.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I actually gave them the keys and said, the insurance runs out in 6 months. I'm not coming back.
Thanks. Bye.
Right. Yeah. So like I went down for 6 weeks, and then it turned into 12 long years.
12 years. That's
years in LA. Yeah.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So the thing is, you actually young kids there, do whatever it takes. Be humble. Do you know what? If you have to clean the the actual floors and the toilets, do it. Because if you do that job well, people will notice that.
Yeah.
And people will see that you're hungry, and somebody wants somebody that when they say something once, it gets done.
It's done.
You're going to move, you're going to go up the ladder. If you have to keep telling somebody something over and over again, bye-bye.
Yeah. Time to go.
Simple. Yeah.
Time to go.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, you mentioned I want to touch on another lesson that your dad gave you about good music selling.
Yeah.
When you say good music is popular, is that only referring to pop music, or is that are there specific formulas for different kinds of genres?
Well, a good song is a good song. It could be in actually metal. It can be in country. It can be in blues. It can be in polka. Well, no, not polka.
Exclude that.
It's still polka. But you know what? A good song is a good song.
Yeah.
Right? And that can never be replaced.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I want to touch very briefly on the Nimbus School of Recording and Media. I've come across this. It appears to be Canada's elite music and media school located in beautiful Vancouver, BC.
Yes.
You founded it with a couple of other people. If you could share a 2-minute story around how that came to be and what you do with it.
Okay, Nimbus started because I was in Vancouver and Bob was in Los Angeles. And up here, it was pissing rain. I just fired my probably 40th runner. I called up Bob and said, Bob, I just fired number 43 runner. He said, yeah, Gar, I get it. I go, you know what, dude? We have to do something because how we got mentored isn't happening, and we have to help our business. So Bob and I began to do Nimbus because we wanted to give back. We wanted to basically help out the youth because my dad did it, Bob did it, I've done it. So we wanted to give back to all these kids because you know what? I've never had a job. I've always done what I love.
Yeah.
Right. So I want these kids to be able to do it. And you can also find that the kids that get into music aren't going to become bankers, not going to become doctors, and not going to become lawyers because that's not isn't their thing. Right?
It's torture pretty much to force them into that.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like I used to bale hay. I used to work in machine shops. I used to do all those jobs, and I hated it. And then when I got into music, I was like,
you can finally breathe. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's wild like that. So you're looking to give more Daves that 4-hour conversation so that they can become their potential.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What is your most fond memory while working at the Farm Studios, who began his story, in 2002?
The Farm Studio started in actually 2002. I'm now at actually version 8.0.
8.0, all right. 18 years later. Cool.
I've slowly begun to change it around. Basically, the most fun, I define fond.
Fond. Oh, well, if that's the case, one that makes you full of joy and one that you wish never happened, that you could have lived without.
Well, there's my favorite story. There was a band called Daughters of Mara.
Okay.
We're here. And of course, the studio is in the house. And at the time, my wife was in the city. And I had to go into the city because she wouldn't come up here anymore because it was crazy, right? You know, like you have a bunch of rock guys here. It got crazy. So I went in town and I came back up. My runner told me, hey, just want to let you know the bass player had sex in your bed. And I went, oh, okay. Does he know I know? No, he doesn't know. Don't tell him I know. Thank you for telling me. So the next day I went to the bass player and said, hey, you know the song you did, the bass part, is there any way that you can redo it? Because I really want the bass notes to be a little bit tighter because you're playing it more open and I want it to be a little bit more tight.
Yeah.
So as he is actually redoing his bass part, I went over to where he slept and I took my, my shavers.
Yeah.
I actually pulled down my pants.
Oh.
and I shaved every bit of hair all over my lower part of my body, and I put it all over his pillow. And the next day, we're all up on the deck, and he came over and he sat down. The sun hit him, and all of my pubic hair was in his eyebrows, on his lip, on his shirt, on his hair. He was covered in my pubic hair, right? So that was a fond memory.
Yes, thank you for sharing that.
That's
hilarious.
Yeah. So there's been lots of fond memories here.
Yeah.
You already know what's coming to you, right, Louis?
Oh no, you don't know where I sleep. You do.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, guys.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Did you tell him afterwards that what happened?
Well, we were in LA about a year later, and I said, "Hey, dude, we're at the Hollywood Roosevelt having some drinks."
Yeah.
The basement show. He actually kind of showed up there, and I said, "Hey, man, do you remember when you had sex in my bed?" He went, "Yeah." He smiled. I said, "Oh, do you not know what I did?" He went, "What do you mean?" And I told him. He was running after me around the pool.
He brought it on to himself, man.
You know what? Yeah.
You started the fire. That's jokes.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Now, next, we're looking for a couple of lessons, 1 or 2 lessons that you gained from your album experiences. We've got a couple of different albums that we want to ask about.
Okay,
that
good.
Cool?
Yep.
Destroyer by Kiss in 1976. Any lessons from that album?
Well, Bob gave me tickets to go see Kiss when they were on that tour in Toronto, and I'd never heard of Kiss. I'd never seen Kiss. And then when I went to see the show, I was like, what the fuck was that? Was intense, insane. It was the best thing that I've ever seen. Right. Huh. So that kind of got me into like, okay, rock really is cool.
And so is that essentially where you wanted to like fully plunge into rock?
No, I've always been like a prog fan. Like, yes, ELP, Gentle Giant, like all those early bands. I was a real fan of that kind of stuff, right? But the whole Kiss thing was like, I went, wow.
Yeah, and that's where it was. Okay, cool. What about Raise Your Fist and Yell by Alice Cooper, 1987?
Wow, you're pulling them all out, aren't you? Right?
Yep.
Well, that was when he was into the hair metal, which is really kind of I find that that was he was following the trends and not being like a trend.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, cool. It's cool. I got my gold
record from that. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Rage Against the Machine.
That's kind of my albatross, I think.
How so?
Well, it's because it's my biggest record, right? So it's gonna be hard to top because that was a special record to make.
Yeah,
that was all done live off the floor.
Do you like doing that kind of work, or?
Yes, you can do it if the band can play. Right, that's the problem today is that the younger bands don't actually spend the time to learn how to play.
Interesting.
Right.
Our grumpy sound guy wants to chime in.
Yes.
That is like the quintessential live off the floor album. Like I think everyone tries to follow that when they try to do live off the floor.
Yeah.
But it's very crazy because you do hear the buffing of doubled guitars and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it's very crazy because how did you manage that? How did you manage that doubling process with them playing live? They didn't play to a click or anything.
No, nothing. There was no Pro Tools. That was all live off the floor. We had to basically just punch everything in. We had to double it up. And you had to kind of, okay, it's speeding up here, so you have to kind of be on top of it. We spend like a lot of time. If you listen to the one song, it's called Settle for Nothing. Live off the floor, Tom played actually one solo. He didn't like it. So he overdubbed the solo, but the old solo was actually bleeding through the PA system, which went into the drum mics. So if you listen closely, you can hear the old solo.
Yeah, super jazzy.
Yeah. It does sound has a delay, right?
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Any stories from Mother's Milk by Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Mother's Milk was also the drums and bass were done live off the floor. We punched in on all the songs. We fixed 4 bass notes. That's it.
That's all you did.
That's all we had to punch in on the bass notes. And of course, that was the first record that John played on, of Shante. And it was, he's a star.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah. He was at the time, he was 17, I think.
Sheesh.
And to get his sounds, you just push up you just get the mic in front of the speaker, push it up and go, okay, I'm done.
But at the same time, it also takes a very knowledgeable producer, engineer to know this, because amateurs will add this and that, whatever, you know?
That's exactly the point that I want to make to your young kids here.
Yeah.
Just because you could 18,000 plugins on a sound doesn't mean to do it. You have to make sure that your source is right. Spend the time putting your sound into the box. You can't fix it afterwards, right? You can't fix it afterwards. You can't make a really shitty sound right afterwards. You have to do it right. So take the time.
Yeah, take the time, record it right, make it better, instead of recording it bad and turning a bad sound into. You can't turn a bad sound good. Very nice.
No.
Is Flea one of your favorite bassists to work with?
Oh, that's a hard question. That's like, what's your favorite child?
What is my favorite?
Right?
Oh, damn.
Right? You know,
fair.
You know, right. Flea's great. I worked with the great bass player John Alderetti. Tim from Rage is great too. There's so many, great extra bass players, right? So
awesome.
But each guy has their own sound.
It's true.
Right?
It's true. The character, the personality lives in the sound. Any lessons from Three-Sided Coin, Nickelback, 2002?
Three-Sided Coin?
Yeah.
Don't you mean, no, which record was that one?
Nickelback?
Is that the leader of men? Yeah, no. Which songs are on that one? Ooh. Because that's a different title.
Haha. Well, in
there
that
we go.
case,
There's your homework. Quick,
there's my homework.
Google, quick.
Can we Google this real quick? Is someone on this?
Someone quick, hurry.
In the meantime,
controversy.
We could shift gears a little bit. What about Jumpstart These Kids? Jumpstart by These Kids Were Clowns.
Oh, no, crowns, not clowns. You said clowns.
What are you talking about? Jumpstart by These Kids Wear Crowns, 2011.
Not clowns. No.
They're crowns.
Phenomenal fun.
Yeah.
Crowns, yeah, not clowns. You said clowns, I think, for this.
Oh my goodness. Mistakes. We're definitely going to have to edit that one out.
That's okay. Yeah. These kids were clowns. Yeah. They were no. Nice kids.
Yeah.
That was fun time.
Good times.
That was very fast. Yeah.
A short-lived experience.
That was a blur.
So I got a couple of songs here from the previous album. How you remind me? Breathe. Too Bad.
Okay, so that record I turned it down.
Interessant.
So did every single record producer got asked to do that record, and everyone said there weren't any songs. Everyone turned it down, and then Rick Perisher, who is now gone, but Rick said, "I'll do it," and because Chad is so driven and for all those haters out there, He is the most wonderful, big-hearted, kind, amazing human being. And he showed up the very first day of getting sounds and said, guys, I have that song. And he played, this is how you remind me.
Huh.
And nobody heard the song, and Rick Perisher was there, and he was the guy that did it.
Interesting.
So,
but on allmusic.com,
Yeah.
it says that you were a mixer of Three-Sided Coin by Nickelback. That's where we got our
I was?
Yeah, and it said Too Bad is the song name.
I think that's wrong.
Interesting.
Oh, that was off of the first record I did, right? Actually, I did Leader of Men, that record.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got to do our better homework.
That's
Fantastic.
okay. No, the Google fake news.
Fake news. You never know. You got to sift through this, sift through that, see what you can find. But right from the source is the best. We've got one more question coming in from the back, and we'll be wrapping up very shortly. Is that cool with you?
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Awesome. That question is on its way. You mentioned reel-to-reel tape. What is your thoughts on the classic debate between digital and analog?
Okay, warmth, cold.
Literally like that? Digital is warmth, analog is cold?
No. Opposite way. The digital's cold, analog's warm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer?
Yeah, thick. If I could use tape all the time, I would.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Is there ever an experience of using the ulterior?
I do both.
Right.
Still.
So it's just preference still. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, because you know what? You have to look at tape as a sound. Just like every piece of gear has a sound. Right?
That is a cool perspective to have. In reference to Devin Townsend, how do you work with others who are fluent in production?
You're there to be like a sounding board for them. You're help them to get clarity, right? To be able to say, hey, that's a great idea. Devin and I are kind of at the beginning stages. He's writing songs now, right? So we've gone through probably 10 songs, and we found 3 that could possibly be on the record, right? So it should be like a actual long process.
Interesting. Do you guys, in that process, do you ever debate specific tones?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but It's going to be really hard to say, yeah, Devin, that's a really shitty sound, because he's a phenomenal player, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like that's a sound.
That is okay. Cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
Artists that resist artistic change. How do you know when to put down the sword and let their way happen? Is that something you do?
You know what? Yeah. Basically, you had this thing to where, like, I'll have a piece like to roll a tape. This is their song.
Okay.
Or their part. That part will always be put down on the table. It never leaves. That thing that they came in with, it's always there. Let's look at it differently. Yeah, but look at it's there still. It won't leave. Let's make it better. So it's kind of how you have to get them to actually think differently. It's kind of like every day, like I wear black tops, black t-shirts every day. But my partner, she wants me to wear something else. I'm like, oh no, and then she's, come on, and I get it on. Like I'm feeling I'm feeling strange. But then after a while, you kind of go, yeah, kind of look cool in this. But then I go back to the black top, right? So it's kind of like you have to be able to help them look at things differently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's my job with Devin.
Yeah.
Right? Is to basically keep them on track, focused, and moving forward.
Yeah. Change your perspective, allow them to see it from a different angle. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, there's one point that you haven't talked about, which to me is very kind of important, is that when you're on a record and something happens, like you can hear grumblings about somebody in the band's not happy with something, deal with that right away.
Right away, yeah.
Do not let it fester. Do not let it grow. Do not let it turn into like a complete monster.
Mm-hmm.
If you deal with it right away, it's small. But if it grows and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, then it's a bigger storm.
Yep. It festers.
Yeah. So all you young kids, if there's a problem, deal with it right away. Deal with it right on the spot. But do it to where if it's with somebody in the band, don't do it in front of the whole band. Pull that person aside. You have a man to man talk, man to woman talk, person to person talk, but look them in the eye.
Yeah.
And say, hey, you should hear this. What do you think?
It goes a long way. It really does go a long way. We started this conversation out, Garth, talking about good songs and bad songs. As simply as you can, what makes a song good to you?
Something that is memorable. Oh, by the way, my video stopped. So
it's all good.
Sure
we're about to wrap up. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, good song makes you feel
emotion.
It's that
any kind of emotion. Feel something.
Emotion. A story. Something that everybody can relate to. Interesting.
So artists should practice storytelling.
Well, yeah, that's what it's all about, though.
100%. It's not just saying
right.
Things.
Yeah. Well, it's always about the story.
Always about the story. Fantastic. I like that.
Okay.
Garth, do you have any closing remarks before we wrap this up?
Well, there's a record my dad did. The one lyric still she sticks to me.
Yeah.
Death to false metal.
Okay. Perfect. I like that.
Right?
I like that. Where can our listeners find any of your resources, your information, or your contact?
Well, if you go to garth.com,
yeah,
GGGARTH.com, that's my website.
Okay. Check that out.
I'm all over the media too.
Garth.com. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Our listeners, I hope you had a fantastic time today. I know we did. Garth had a fantastic time. Shout out to our grumpy sound guy in the studio. Big shout out to Prevail.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you so much, Garth Richardson, for being here. We are out. Thank you for listening. If you found any value in this episode and you want to learn more from our content, check out our website at goproduce.ca. If you're on Instagram, check out our handle at go.produce. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, hit download. If you're on Apple Music, leave a review. This will all help us grow our community. I'm Big Lou, and this is Go Produce.